Hello, students. How are you all doing? I hope all of you are doing really well. In today's class, we are going to continue reading the chapter My Childhood. Right? In the previous class, we have seen that how the new teacher could not tolerate a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. So he asked APJ Abdul Kalam to go and sit on the backbench. This incident made both APJ Abdul Kalam and Ramanatha Shastri very sad. They were very depressed. So after school, they went home and told their parents about the incident, about what has happened in the school today. And from now this point, we will continue reading the story and see what action has been taken against the teacher. So are you excited to know what happens next? Okay, so let's get started. Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. So here we have a picture of Lakshmana Sastri. I told you he was the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. He was the father of Ramanatha Shastri. So he summoned means to call. So he called the teacher and in the presence of the students, who are here, the students, APJ Abdul Kalam and Ramanatha Shastri, he told that he should not spread this poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. So the students, the children are very innocent. Whatever we will feed them with, they will learn it and they will remember it throughout their lifetime. So if we will teach them good things, they will remember that. If we will spread among them the poison of social inequality, if we will feed them with communal intolerance, they will think in the same way. They will remember it throughout their life. That's why he's saying that Lakshmana Sastri is saying that the teacher should not do this because the child, they were very innocent. We should teach them the right things. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So he bluntly means when you say something without trying to be polite or without considering how the other people will feel if I say so. So, like our friends, they also come to us and they very bluntly they say, I think you should stop eating and start dieting. You have gained a lot of weight. So our friends also do that, right? They bluntly ask us to do something or not to do something. They don't care how we are going to react or how we are going to, take them or take their opinion. So here, he was not trying to be polite. He very sharply, very bluntly said that either you apologize, you say sorry to these kids, or you quit the school and the island. You can just leave. You can go. You can quit the school and you can quit the island. Then not only did he regret, the teacher regret his behavior, but a strong sense of conviction. Conviction means a strong opinion or belief. A strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed has reformed this young teacher. He was ultimately reformed. He changed his thinking, he changed his belief, and he knew that what he had done was wrong and he should not continue doing that. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. So the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid, very strict in terms of segregation, means separation. So they very strictly followed the rules of separation, that we have social rankings, we have Brahmins, Kshatriyas, we have Shudras. So they very believed in these things, and they knew that they cannot mingle together, they cannot come together. So they believed in, separation. They believed in separating people based on their caste, creed, religion, and whatnot. However, my science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. So, though the small society of Rameshwaram followed the rules, and they were very orthodox, they believed in separation of people based on their caste and creed. But his teacher, his science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, he was something of a rebel. Rebel means when you think against what other people think. So he belonged to a very orthodox Brahmin family, but still he was a rebel. He did not believe in segregation of people. He believed in harmony, okay, communal harmony. The wife of the science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, she was very conservative. She had very traditional feelings, traditional beliefs. Okay. He did his best to break the social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So the science teacher, he did not believe in all these social barriers, and he tried his best, to break these barriers so that people from varying backgrounds, from different religions, different castes, different creed, different color, they could come together, they could mingle together. Mingle means interact with each other, living in harmony, living in peace together. He used to spend hours with me and say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So the science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, had a lot of belief, had a lot of faith on Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, as he used to tell him from the very beginning that I want you to develop, I want you to grow, so that one day you are on par with the highly educated people. Par means at the same level, okay? So he had really seen something great in APJ Abdul Kalam, and he used to motivate him. He used to set, he used to set bar for him, and he used to say, this is not the end for you. I want you to grow. I want you to see on the same level with highly educated people of the big cities. And we all know APJ Abdul Kalam. Not just he came on par with the highly educated people, he surpassed them. Like, we all will agree with it, that the pinnacle that he has reached. The science teacher must be very proud of APJ Abdul Kalam. One day, he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. So one day, his science teacher, he invited him to his home for having a meal. But his wife did not really like this idea. She was horrified at how a Muslim boy is going to have dinner with us, or how he has invited a Muslim boy in our ritually pure kitchen. Ritually pure means a kitchen which has been kept protected from all outside influences for the observances of religion. Means no Muslim boy has entered her kitchen before. Now, the pure kitchen will not be pure anymore. It will become impure, according to his wife's idea. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. So you can see, like, she was really an orthodox, she was really a conservative wife. She refused to serve APJ Abdul Kalam in her kitchen, thinking that it will become impure. Shiva Subramania Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands, and sat down beside me to eat his meal. So, looking at his wife's reaction, the science teacher, Shiva Subramanya Iyer, he was not perturbed. Perturbed means he was not upset. Neither he was angry with his wife. But instead, he served APJ Abdul Kalam food with his own hands, and he sat down beside him to eat his meal. You can see in the picture that how they are having the meal together. Right? His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. So now the wife of the science teacher was watching them, from behind the kitchen door. And APJ Abdul Kalam, he was wondering, has she observed any difference in the way I was eating the food? I was eating the rice, I was drinking water, or cleaned the floor after the meal? So the APJ Abdul Kalam was really surprised that, no matter from which religion do you belong, right? Which caste do you belong? People have the same way of eating food, same way of drinking water, and they clean the floor in the same way. So what is the point of differentiation? Why is she segregating me? He was really surprised by the reaction of the science teacher's wife. When I was leaving his house, Siva Subramanya Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. So now, when he was about to leave the house, the teacher invited him again for dinner next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. So now, when he invited him again for the dinner, obviously anybody would also show hesitation. So APJ Abdul Kalam was showing some kind of hesitation, like a doubt or reluctance. So he was hesitating to say yes. Now, why he was hesitating? Because he was not treated very well by the science teacher's wife. So he was not really happy with the idea of coming back again for dinner. But the science teacher said, don't get upset, because once you decide to change the system, and what system we are talking about? The caste system, the religion system. If you have decided to change it, you have to confront such problems. You have to face such problems. Don't be upset. Don't be angry with my wife's reaction. So he was really, he had that will to change the system. He did not get disturbed by anyone's reaction around him. That was the level of dedication of the science teacher. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramanya Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. So how beautiful, you can see the picture. This picture is giving us such a strong message that how there was a change that has taken place in his teacher's wife. When she was thinking, if I admit a Muslim guy into my kitchen will become impure. And within a week, there has been a transformation. There has been a good change. She now allowed APJ Abdul Kalam to come into her kitchen, sit down, and she was serving him food with her own hands. This is a really, it's since she was very conservative, it has been really a tough time for the Shiva Subramanya, for him to convince the wife. But it's great that she has changed her thoughts, changed her beliefs, and now she has allowed APJ Abdul Kalam to enter the kitchen. This, this should be the level of dedication, willpower, that we have to face it and we have to change people's thinking. How do they think? Why do they have belief in such system? It's very good. It is giving a very strong message, and we should also learn that none of us should discriminate anyone based on their caste or color or creed. We all belong to we are all sons and daughters of God. Okay, let's continue. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. So, the Second World War was over and the freedom of India was imminent. Imminent means about to happen. Okay, India got their freedom. And Gandhiji declared that Indians will build their own India. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. So the whole country was filled with unprecedented, means never done or known before. So this optimism was, never experienced before. They were about to get the freedom. The whole country was very optimistic. Now APJ Abdul Kalam is asking permission from his father that he wants to leave Rameshwaram, he wants to go to district headquarters in Ramanathapuram and continue his studies from there. He told me, as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a nest? So you can see how, such practical thinking displayed by his father. He's saying that, I know you have to go out, you have to go away to grow, to become a better person. Does the seagull not fly across the sun? Seagull is a seabird which flies alone without any nest. So, you also have to go out to grow, and obviously you will go out and study as much as you like. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. So the mother was hesitant, mothers are really emotional. Fathers are known to be they are very practical. But mothers, they are very emotional, they have that soft corner, and they don't really like the idea of their children going out to study. I mean, it's not that they don't want to grow. It's not that they don't want their children to, rise heights. But it's very painful for them, for mothers, to separate from their children. So definitely APJ Abdul Kalam's mother was hesitant. She was having a very tough, moment. Her heart was not allowing that APJ should go out and study. All the mothers are like that only, they're very, very attached to the child. Fathers also are attached to the child, but they think in a more practical way. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. So he's quoting the father, maybe he's trying to convince the mother that they are not your children. Okay, they are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So the father is trying to convince the mother and, emotionally soothe the mother that they have come through you, but they have not come from you. You may give them your love, but you cannot give them your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. They have to go out. They have to build their own life, right? So these lines of the father is really very heart-touching and heartwarming. We see how practical his father was and how he was trying to convince the mother that let APJ Abdul Kalam go and make a life of his own. So with these lines, the chapter comes to an end. So the quote that APJ Abdul Kalam's father has quoted to his mother is taken from Khalil Gibran's poem on children. So I really hope that please all of you really go and read this poem It is really heart touching and you will love it. Okay, so students, we have completed reading the story My Childhood. My Childhood is an extract from APJ Abdul Kalam's autobiography, Wings of Fire. You have seen, students, that how beautifully Kalam sir has described his childhood. He has talked about people, events, and experiences that he had during his childhood. Students, from this story, we have learned that how experiences shapes our life. You know, great values of life gets instilled in us by the people and experiences we have in our life. This is such an inspirational story for all of us, and I'm very sure that we all will learn something from the story and will take it forward in our lives, which will benefit us and will be of great value for all of us. Okay, so with these thoughts in my mind, I would like to end this chapter here and we will discuss the question answers given in your NCERT book. Okay, so let's discuss the question answers. The first question, the first part of this question is answer these questions in 1 or 2 sentences each. Okay, the first question, where was Abdul Kalam's house? I'm sure all of you really know the answer. Abdul Kalam's house was on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. Next question. What do you think Dinamani is the name of? Give a reason for your answer. So I told you, right, Dinamani was the name of the newspaper. Dinamani is the name of a newspaper because Kalam says that when his brother-in-law Samsuddin would tell his stories of the war, he would later try to trace it in the headlines of Dinamani. So from the word headlines, we can say that Dinamani is the name of a newspaper. Who were Abdul Kalam's school friends? What did they later become? Do you remember the name, students? I told you, right? Do you remember? Yes, Ramananda Shastri, Aravindam and Shiva Prakashan were his school friends. Ramananda Shastri became a priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Aravindam went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims. Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. Very good. Okay, the next question. How did Abdul Kalam earn his first wages? Do you remember how? And he was still taking, after 50 years also, he was still feeling pride of that moment. Abdul Kalam earned his first wages by catching bundles of the newspapers thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi and distributing them. So you know why this incident had happened? Why the newspaper bundles had to be thrown out of the moving train? Yes, because there was a casualty which came like in the form of suspension of the halt of the train at the Rameswaram station. Yes, very good. Next question. Had he earned any money before that? In what way? So yes, do you remember when the Second World War broke out? There was a sudden demand of tamarind seeds in the market. Yes. So the answer is yes, he had earned money before also. He used to collect the tamarind seeds and sell them to a provisions shop on the Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch him the princely sum of 1 anna. The second part of the questions are that you have to answer each of these questions in a short paragraph. Okay, the first question. How does the author describe his father, his mother, himself? So you have to tell that how does the author APJ Abdul Kalam describe his father. So let's see for father first. The author describes his father as honest and self-disciplined. His father used to avoid inessential comforts and luxuries. The author tells that his father never had a formal education or much wealth, but he possessed great wisdom and was very generous. So, this was his feeling for his father. Let's see about mother. The author APJ Abdul Kalam describes his mother as being an ideal helpmate to his father. She used to feed a lot of outsiders along with her family members. Now he is describing himself. The author describes himself as a short boy with undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. The second question is, what characteristics does he say he inherited from his parents? Okay, so let's see what he has taken from his mother and father. He says that he inherited honesty and self discipline from his father, and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. So, this was the end of the discussions of the questions that we have in our book, and we have formally ended the chapter here. I'm sure all of you have really enjoyed reading this chapter. It's such a beautiful story of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We'll meet in the next class. Till then, bye and take care.